All right, hey, are we live? Let's check our status here online to see if we're up and running. I'm trying a louder setting on my volume to see if that's going to come through or not. So doing a mic check, 1, 2, 3. Doing a mic check. Yeah, that sounds pretty clear. All right, cool. So let's see if that flies. I'm going to do some social media posting here real quick and distract you with my origin story. So give me a hot second here to do my cutty, pasty, social posty stuff. All right. Okay, so that workflow is starting to flow. Hey, my name is Phil Kearney. What's up, guys? I create role-playing games, I illustrate them, and I publish online. I've been creating content for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition since 2017. That's when Wizards of the Coast created the first Magic the Gathering setting for Dungeons & Dragons. It's about time, guys. It's like only been 24 years since you've owned the IPs. At the same time, you finally got around to it. But when they got around to it, they had adopted the philosophy of simplifying game mechanics instead of adding mechanical depth to reflect the narrative depth of whatever system it is that they're playing with. So, like in 3rd edition, we would have gotten a mechanical system for how color mana works inside of the game space, along with like a bunch of new monsters and feats and prestige classes and a whole new class and all like a whole adventure and a bunch of magic gear and psionic powers and stuff, blah blah blah. 3rd edition splat books and like late stage 3.5 were insane. Just the amount of, like, if they had an idea, they could kick out like a 125 page book like twice a month, like literally twice a month. It was insane. $15, 125 pages, not a bad deal. So I was into it. There was so much stuff coming at us in 3rd edition that I didn't have time to do a lot of homebrew stuff because there was just so much stuff coming to us. But once 4th edition dropped and they stopped creating content, I immediately started playing with martial powers from 3rd edition, the Book of Nine Swords. So now we're here in 2024 with the new Player's Handbook. And there hasn't been any further developments in 5e game tech, so I'm just going to keep doing what I do, which is make new tools. So most of the stuff that I've been DMing since 1987. I've been Magic the Gathering fan since 1995-ish. I've been a freelance illustrator since 1999, and I've been creating content for 5th edition on DMsGuild since, like I said, 2017. That's when Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica came out. So, I'm on the X Twitter platform. If you are too, I am at Phil Kearney. That's where I post like when I go live, the illustrations and stuff that I do for like my trailer teasers and stuff here for the launch, and coupons and all the stuff. So if you're interested in that, at Phil Kearney. And then here on YouTube, at Phil Kearney as well. Like, subscribe. Thanks, guys. More subscribers since yesterday. That is absolutely kind and wonderful. Thank you. Like, subscribe, bell icon to get notifications. All 171 episodes of this design stream, creating martial powers, is here. And here's a whole bunch of other books that we've created. Spelljammer, we did page layouts and artwork and a little bit of design work on stream here. We did some artwork for the Pacts and patrons, as well as color mana books. So you can see those in my other playlist streams. This book we've been building pretty much from scratch up through it all to where it's at currently. And if you're interested in participating in upcoming playtests, or if you want to take it out for a spin yourself and give me some feedback, God bless you for doing it. Here's the playtest off of my Patreon page. You can click the Martial Powers button and it'll take you to this Google Doc. For you, it's going to be read-only. But this is the same document that I use to do edits. So there, that's the page that I'm looking at in my edits book. That's what you're looking at there. So you guys get to read along with what I'm doing. So if you find this stuff interesting, like I said, like, subscribe, bell icon. Once I get done with the mechanics for this stuff, we're going to start playtesting again. I've already playtested level 16 to 20 and level 3 to 6. But now that we have the 2024 rules in effect, I want to run it through level 3 to 10. Just because some things have jived a little bit different. The high end is pretty much the same level of power from what I had seen before. It's just the low end. I want to make sure all the gears work well so that they can continue ratcheting up into higher ranks of higher tiers of campaign. So I'm pretty confident past 10th level with where they're at. just because of the testing that we've already done. But with the low end, with how 2024 is adding in new resources, it doesn't really matter at the high end. Because it's already, we're swapping different types of resources that characters now get in 2024 that they didn't have in 2014. In 2014, we had to create new resource budgets for us to use the mana with to build the characters. But now that Wizards has gone in the direction of more resources for characters, we can now just retool all the mechanics that we had to use the resources that the classes now already have. And that transfer process has been very smooth. So I'm going to try in the first and second tier to make sure those pan out. And already at the third and fourth tier, the mechanics and the power budget and resources are all basically the same at this point. So I'm good there. We just need to test the low end to make sure it flies right. So we are currently going to, so if you're interested in playtesting, you are welcome to join into my Discord channel to join the community and ask questions and stuff. And if you want to support me on Patreon, if there's too many people that want to sit at the table during a playtest, if you are a Patreon member, you get first rights. And if there's only Patreons but too many asking, then it becomes a Patreon raffle. And we can raffle each week if necessary. So let me know if you're interested. Drop in my channel, say hey, or drop in the channel stream here and in the comments, and chat up with me as we go along. So when we were here last time and the time before, we finished retooling the artificer and resolved the magic items. We still have magic item random tables like 1 to 5 dagger, 6 to 9 short sword, whatever. I'm going to build that. I'm going to rebuild that off of the list that we have in the DMG now, because I don't know if like some weapons happen to disappear in 2024 that I didn't know about. So I want to make sure I take a little bit of time looking through that stuff. And so that's not very entertaining. And currently the work that I'm doing is on stream. So let's instead go to creatures using power. So if you aren't indoctrinated, welcome to the mix. We're creating a half-casting magic system that all marshals and half-casters can use. Basically 5 levels of power. You get an inspiration, superiority, martial arts die at level 1, 9, and 17. So when you spend 2 points of mana at 5th level, you get 2d6 damage worth of something plus a kicker effect, or give yourself like X temporary hit points, or like roll 2 6-sided die and add the best result to your attack roll, stuff like that. There's 170 different powers currently, including sustained effects, which are like self-buff auras that modify your character in some way, and about 70 cantrip style meta power feats and damage types and combat masteries that your character can pick up. So instead of being dependent on a mana resource, these are just things you can do at will. All the weapon masteries plus 6 new ones, so we have 13 combat masteries that you can prepare and then use with any weapon, like a fighter could at 13th level in the PH. And then feats, here's the 40 origin and general feats and fighting style feats that you can take as a prepared power, instead of waiting until you get your 4th level and your ASI option. None of these will give you ability score increases, but otherwise the effects don't have prerequisites, so you can take them as early as 1st level. If you don't want to spend mana, you can just stack up on feats, and at 1st level when you barely have any mana, it's a pretty winning idea. So get all your feats out of the way so you start building the core character that you want, and then from level 2 on, you can start stacking on auras that are sustained effects that don't require you to spend mana and over again, so you can buff up with your full mana supply, buff up on feats, get your protective or combat auras going, and then stick a couple exploits away from modifying your ability modifiers. And then once you get your subclass, you're going to get a bunch, you're going to start getting free, you're going to get bonus powers to add to your repertoire, so you're automatically getting things that are thematically aligned with your subclass. Like, for example, the Path of the Berserker. At 3rd level, you get Dire Impact, which deals extra damage and ramps over time. Rush Attack, which is you deal extra damage as like a charge sort of thing. And at 5th level, you got Intimidating Strike, so you frighten, condition people, and deal extra damage to them. Overrun is trample. Basically, if you run through their space during your turn, you can do so without being blocked. and they deal damage once per round to whoever it is that you cross through. Hypertunistic lets you make 2 attacks whenever you make an opportunity attack instead of 1. Double strike allows you to make 2 attacks as a bonus action instead of 1. Opportunist lets you convert attacks into additional opportunity attacks as reactions. Curse of Exposure makes people disadvantaged against any saving throws that you would make, such as when you tried to scare them, for instance. Frenzied Attack gives you a bonus attack whenever you take the attack action. And Wave of Terror is a fear effect within an area of effect within a radius, which of course is at disadvantage if you happen to have if you hit a creature with Curse of Exposure. So you get the stack of free feats, and this starts to sculpt the kind of stuff that your character can just by default do for taking the Path of the Berserker or Path of the Wild Heart or whatever. All of them have been done out for the Barbarian, the Fighter, the Monk, the Rogue, the Ranger, and Paladin from the Player's Handbook. And then we took Tasha's 4 subclasses for the Artificer and the Rogue, and the Warlock from Player's Handbook. So we've got them all resolved. They all get bonus powers. All of their features now work as they're supposed to, as written in the Player's Handbook, or they could be modified to use the power mana resource that we now have. So now that the characters are built out and we have magic gear that reflects that, and all the subclasses are resolved, we're going to take all these different, just like these subclasses get a stack of bonus powers as you gain new ranks of power. 3rd rank your subclass, 3rd level your subclass, 5th level your 2nd rank, 9th your 3rd rank powers, 13 4th rank powers, and 17 you can channel up to 5 mana at that point. So ranks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's how many ranks of sustained powers you can maintain at once. Sustain at 17th level at 5th rank of power, you could have 5 first rank, or 3 first rank and a second, or 2 second and a first, or a 4th and a first, a 3rd and a second. However you want to mix it up. You can combo all these auras based on what your maximum rank is, which is separate from spellcasting completely and don't overlap. So we can resolve that. So when we're looking at monsters, we're looking at it from a perspective of 4th edition. Monster role templates. So 4th edition introduced the idea of assigning roles to monsters. The Martial Power System, Martial Powers, adopts the idea by creating an array of default templates that can be applied to monster as the DM deems appropriate. So they're in 4th edition, the different the different roles that monsters had was artillery, which are ranged attackers, the brute, which is massive hit points, slow big hits, a controller, which could be done in a number of ways, but ultimately it's designed to impede character movement and action economy. A lurker is like a sneak attack or assassin that they're able to ambush and then disappear from being attacked. Skirmishers strike and then fade away, so they hit you and then they retreat. Like an artillerist never gets close to you and just bombards you, while a skirmisher comes in close, hits you, and then backs out, or hits you on the way by, or has an overrun ability that it just basically runs a circle around your group and everyone takes damage for it. Whatever, however it is that we decide to build it, that's how the skirmisher is. A soldier are okay by themselves, but the more soldiers you have working to synergize with each other, like pack tactics, the more dangerous they become. And then a solo monster has multiple epic reactions and multiple actions per round, so that it can solo an entire team. So those are the different roles. And so while we are working on the monster roles, we'll be basically building out of the list of powers that exists inside of the system so far, whether they're meta power feats that don't require any sort of mana budget, like the feats, the damage types, and the combat masteries, or there are things that do require mana, in which case we will allocate a certain budget per day that they can use them, either at will, once per round, once per encounter. Those are generally the 3 ways that you scale them based on the rank of the creature and the maximum power level that they can achieve at their levels. So we have that all broken down here in the table. I have a list of artillery stuff here. Let's see. Do I have a... Okay, yeah. Okay, so applying monster roll templates. Powers are ranked. Each power can be used once per round unless stated otherwise. I'm going to take this stuff and push it up here to the top. So here's the default kits, applying monster roll templates. Powers are ranked as half casting progression. Creatures using powers are divided into ranks as well, 1 to 5. The creature's CR, its rank, its power die, and the number of powers that it would typically have. So up to CR1 is first rank. It rolls a D4 power die when it's capped at first rank. So it rolls 1d4 whenever it does something, and there's 2 things it could do. So like this thing is probably going to be better off like having a feat and a damage type, or like a feat and a combat mastery, or a damage type and a combat mastery. Take your combo pick, but it's just going to basically be just your generic, like a generic goblin. A general generic goblin is going to have 2 things that it can do. Maybe it can do something fancy like a reaction or something, depending on what its role is. But like a soldier, like just like a brute, like a brute goblin, is probably going to have something like savage attacker, so it's doing D12 plus like a +2 for its strength, and then like maybe a combat master like push, or a damage type such as like maybe fire damage. Like if these are red goblins, maybe this fire, electrical, or thunder damage on top of being able to push you, for instance. So there's different combos that you can create there based on the flavor of the creature. So we're creating just general combos for these kits, right? So up to CR1, CR5, CR9, 13, and then anything above that is that's first rank, second rank, third rank, fourth rank, and then fifth rank. And character levels correspond, by the way, at first level, fifth level, ninth level, 13th level, and 17th level. So 13th level, 10 to 13 is 4, so it's a little backwards, but at the high end of your CR, you're facing the same level creatures, right? So you're facing at lower, like creatures get access to higher ranked powers faster than you do, because a CR10 creature is going to be sporting 4th rank powers, even though your 10th level character can only cast 3rd level. It can only do 3rd rank powers as a half caster. So, but as the creature gains ranks, its die rolls. So not only can it throw more dice, but the dice are bigger. So once you get to CR 14 plus, when your characters are really freaking difficult to kill, if like a dragon were to hit you like with a burning strike, with its like when it makes a bite attack, maybe it breathes fire on you when it bites. So it uses a burning strike attack. So it maybe can do that like once per round. So then it would deal, because like it's an ancient red dragon, CR 14 above is going to do an extra 5d12 fire damage when it bites with its chomp, and the bite, instead of being piercing damage, can be all fire damage as well if that dragon so chooses. So like that's a significant, that's like doubles the bite power of that dragon. So that's dangerous, but like it can only use that once per round. So it could have done that with a claw attack, like catch its claw on fire and then burn through you, or catch its tail on fire and knock you over with a tail slap. But at 14th level, it's got 6 things that it gets to add to its abilities on top of what it can normally do. Add all this extra stuff too. So like maybe it's immune to like the red dragon. You'd expect it to be immune to fire. Maybe it's also chosen to be immune to cold, because like maybe it's like against electricity. Maybe it has an old grudge with a blue dragon. And it's been killed. It's almost been killed a number of times by the blue dragon. So at this point, it's decided to take on electrical immunity. So if your characters know that, they know not to hit it with a lightning bolt. So now you have lore they can build behind. Oh yeah, those are the Hammersmith gnomes. They're famous for building large blunt objects that when they hit you, they deal massive concussion thunder damage, and they knock people away. Like that would mean that like all of the gnome soldiers in that city all have a thundering strike power, or have damage ability, will have push and have thunder damage as like their 2 freebie perks. So like stuff like that, you can customize characters specifically around different powers that they have, and the tougher they are, the more stuff that they can do. Of course, the DM can override this stuff. This is just the general template of expectations. So, and the damage really freaking ramps up over time. It becomes very, very dangerous. So, okay, so now we're looking at kits. So the rank is the max rank of power the creature can know, and how many dice are rolled at once. The die is the size of the die. So normally characters only use a D6, D8, D10 with more space in between. But the monsters have a quicker turnover, D4, D6, D8, D10, D12. If I were to make an entirely new 5e system using these ideas as a core, I might go with D4, D6, D8, D10, D12 as well, and have monsters and character species be transparent, and have all the abilities that creatures can do. Just have a base chassis of like armor class, move, hit points, attack and modifier rolls, and then just use just different kits of powers to express what that creature is. So like we could get to that point. We'll see if we go there. So each power can be used once per turn, once per round unless stated otherwise. Below, artillery, stay at a distance from heroes and harass with ranged attacks. Things that they have always, things they have per round, and things they have per encounter. And we're looking at, oh boy, how do I want to do this? Do I want to do this? Okay, so this is kind of what I'm thinking. Power, rank, frequency. One, two, three, 4, 5. So I'm looking at the rank. I'm looking at the rank of the creature. And then powers. Known. Monster rank. Okay, let's see if this jives. Let's take it a little bit further. All right, so if we are starting with artillery, first level, we're going to want to focus on meta powers. So let's see, what would be a good feat or two for a 1-hit die or 2-hit die artillerist. Crossbow expert's not a bad idea. Sharpshooter, certainly a good idea. So yeah, let's go with crossbow expert and sharp. Yeah, I'm seeing that I might not have a space to do all this. We'll see how that pans out. Maybe this isn't that difficult. Powers known. By rank. I mean, I guess since the rank of the creature is the rank of power that they know, and they know 2 at first, and they add 1 per rank. I guess this would be an easy way to do this. Yeah, so let's do it that way. So second rank. Okay, so second rank we have. I'm gonna grab a snapshot of this real quick. Maybe. Second rank. Okay, and you have 3 powers. So this would be a good time for us to then add in. Let's see. So what's a artillerist? So let's see what a useful artillery thing could be. We'll go into ranks. Let's just immediately go take a look at the ranged skirmisher. Ranged assault, thank you. While sustaining this power, you gain the following abilities. When using a strike power with a ranged weapon, increase the power of the size of the power die by 1. Okay, so there's a rule that if you're using a ranged weapon, you use 1 die smaller than you would if you were using melee. And you can create temporary non-magical weapons or ammunition for ranged attacks while making a thrown weapon which disappears after you hit or miss. So, yeah, that's easy enough. Ranged assault. Ranged assault, 1. That's a sustained power, first rank. Sharpshooter is a feat, and crossbow expert is also a feat. Third rank. Third rank, we can now add on something that's second level, up to second level. No, up to third level. One thing up to third level. Let's see, what would be fun to add? This is for a sniper, a ranged something. Celerity, Daunting Presence, Ghostwalker, Mind Sense, Windstrider, Artillery. Doesn't need to move. Doesn't expect to be up close. Doesn't need reach. Hold on. I think there is a. What's it called? Damn it. Hold on. Like an accuracy strike. Hold on. I forget what it's called. Curse, Blind, Lethargy, Quick Utility, Allied Assault, Vanish, Rally, Shunt, Quick, Goad, Flatten, Distract, Coordinated Bonus. Oh no, I want to be in Exploits. Abundant Step. Precision attack. There we go. Precise attack. When you make an attack against a target with less than full cover, you can ignore the benefits of cover. Roll with advantage and roll a number of power dice equal to the amount of mana spent this way, adding the highest roll to your result. If the attack misses, restore the mana to your pool. So, nice. Okay, so precise attack is exactly where we need to be right now. Precise attack, exploit 2. So we're at 3rd rank, we use 3 dice. And that means that when we use this, so we ignore any kind of cover as long as it's not full cover. And 3rd rank, 3 dice, 3rd rank, D8. Yeah, 3rd rank, D8, 3 dice. That means when you make a precise attack, we'll attack with advantage. And you'll roll 3 8-sided dice, keep the highest result, and add it to their attack roll. That is really good. That's a really good generic artillery thing. Let's see. So let's go to 4th rank. What's a cool thing that we want to add on for 4? So we have the range. We have the skill. We have the range. We have the proficiency. Now maybe what we need to do is add damage, or we add frequency. So if we go with frequency, we could go with double strike, which is you can make 2 attacks. So if we added double strike, it would be artillery would be doing multiple shots. They'd be doing 3 attacks per round. 2 extra attacks on top of whatever their normal range would be. Assuming they only get 1 ranged attack per round, this would add another 2 to it. Alternatively, we could go down into the strikes, and there's the bursting strike. I think that's what it's called, or is it explosive strike? Bursting strike. Your weapon deals 1 power die of additional damage per mana channeled, and any number of creatures you choose within 10 feet of the target also take damage equal to the result of the power dice damage rolled. So if I were to roll, this would be 4th rank. So if I were to roll 4d10, I would deal 4d10 to all creatures around that target, but I can only do it once per round. So let's see, power known by rank. Yeah, each power can be used once per round unless stated otherwise below. There, crossbow expert, feat. Each discipline, and a discipline is something that has a rank. Like feats aren't disciplines; those are meta powers. So, but like the sustained powers are disciplines, and exploits are disciplines. So that's the difference. This is explained further up above. So like 4th, bursting strike is nasty. So I'm gonna leave that one. Bursting strike. I'm gonna leave that one. STR3. I'm gonna leave that for 5th rank. By like the time you're level 14. Artillerists like this dealing burst damage. Everybody is basically lobbing fireballs at your allies, unless they keep themselves spaced out far enough that they can't all benefit from paladins or of protection. So I love that. That's great. So what do we need for 4th rank? Maybe we take hypertonistic. Maybe that is the right one to use. Let's check again real quick to see if there's any sustained powers that are really cool. But so far we have a strike, a sustained power, an exploit, and a feat. We have something new, a different type of power added every level. So yeah, let's just go with double strike. Double strike. And that's going to be that's a maneuver, 2nd rank maneuver. So that can be done as an action or a double action. There you go. So that's our kit. 1st / meta power. 2nd, 3rd, oops. 4th, oops. 5th. All right. Hey, that was smooth. How is that different from what we had originally? We had ranged assault right up front. Precise attack, bonus attack, maneuvers, strike, burst, yeah. Double strike and bursting strike at the top end. That makes sense. All right, well, the way that we have it constructed now, I think, is like way, way better. So let's keep doing it like this. We'll drop down here to control to prepare for continuing. There. All right. So let's take another fresh look, and then we'll compare it again against our previous decision. So artillery. God, I love doing this stuff. If you think this stuff is fun, let me know. We have specific examples further down below. Like an ogre is like a CR2 creature. So let's see the cool, like the 3 cool things we give an ogre, for instance. So we can take the entire monster manual and build like different kits of powers for them based on what role they're playing. Like if you want to, like beholders are generally solo bosses, right? So we'll have a solo kit, but they could also maybe be an artillerist kit instead. That makes a lot of sense for beholders, right? Anyway, we can play with it. And that's something that I could just churn out on my Patreon for folks if they need if they want added value for the for their subscription. There, like that. Save. All right, brute. Bags of hit points. So let's see. I'm going to get rid of these, and we're going to drop in a replacement. Brutes have lots of hit points and hit really hard, so that probably means that we're going to want to strike early. We're going to want to strike as early as 2nd rank. But at 1st rank, I think what we need is tankiness. We don't need to do a lot of damage because characters don't have a lot of damage to take. And it's by 2nd rank, when they're like around level 5+, that's when you can really start dumping in damage. So having said that, we want to... we're limited to 1st rank power stuff. So that could be a sustained power. But it can only be 1, because they can only sustain 1 rank of power at a time. So at this level, that'd be 1. So we're limited here. Let's see. Crouching stance would be really, really good for a lurker. We'll get back to that. We're looking at a brute. Close quarter combat. While this power is sustained, you gain the grapple mastery, and you add 1 power die to any grapple check you make, or the DC to end grappling with you. This power die, you add 1 power die to any grapple, to the DC of any grapple save against you. One power die to the DC for any creature attempting to break your grapple, and you add 1 power die to your saving throw to avoid or break a grapple. That's insane value. Grappled. There. This power, and period. This power can be added to any power dice spent while channeling the grappling strike power above. You gain the grapple mastery, which is basically when you hit with a weapon, you can grapple, and if you succeed, you can't use that weapon to attack anybody until the grapple ends. Actually, I think I need to monkey those words a little bit. Hold on. But yeah, grapple man. But close quarter combat. That is close quarter combat is a fantastic +1. That is a fantastic brute power to acquire. Let's go down and look at, because you get twofer. It's basically a twofer because you get the grapple and you get the sustained power. So it's a cheat. Grapple, melee only. Target makes a strength or dexterity saving throw. If they fail, they're grappled. You can't use this. You can't use the weapon to make attacks again until the grapple ends. Oh shit! All right, I know what to do. Okay, that's fine. It's just a mastery. Not being able to, I am fine with that. Here is what we want to do. This is, oh god, this is going to be so good. This is making close quarter combat like really, really, really good. This is almost too good for first rank. Okay, while this power is sustained, you gain the grapple mastery and you add 1 power die to the DC for any creature attempting to break your kicker. Kicker. You can add 1 power die per mana kicked to the DC for any creature attempting to break your grapple. You add 1 power die per mana kicked to the DC for any creature attempting to break or end your grapple. Alternatively, you can kicked, comma, adding the highest result, the highest roll there. You can roll as an exploit. You can roll 1 power die per mana kicked, adding the highest result to the DC for any creature attempting to break or injure grapple. Alternatively, you can add the highest result to your saving throw to end a grapple. Kicker effects are separate. You, some sustained powers you spend and tap mana to turn it on, and while it is on, you have a kicker effect that you can do, like empowered ability down here. While this power is sustained, you can roll 1 power die per mana spent, per mana expended. Is the new language expended up to your max channel limit, adding the highest roll to the result of any ability check or save using the chosen ability. If the check fails, restore the kicker mana to your pool. So kicker effect, close quarter combat. This power die. Gain power mastery. While this power is sustained, you gain the grapple mastery. There you go. And we can eliminate that other language. Kicker, as an exploit, you can roll 1 power die per mana kicked, adding the highest results to the DC for any creature attempting to break or end the grapple. We better check grappling strike real quick. Your weapon damage increases by 1 power die per mana channeled, and you can grapple a creature one size larger than you with that weapon. The grapple ends when you choose to or attack another target with the grappling weapon. You can't use the weapon to attack until the grapple ends. Period. This is the same as the grapple mastery, except that this one requires dice, and the dice increase your damage. And again, you get the grappling condition. You can't use the weapon to attack until the grapple ends. Yeah, that's sufficient on its own. And if you really want to get good at grappling, that's going to let you deal extra damage and initiate a grapple. The sustain power is going to let you initiate a grapple without dealing extra damage, but you get to kick it. So if you could sustain the close quarter combat, the grapple mastery. So if you have this turned on, you get the spend mana to ramp your DCs for and against you. You gain grapple mastery, so you don't have to use grappling strike unless you want to do extra damage. Max channel limit. I think it's pretty much inferred that it goes to your max channel limit. Maybe I need to spell that out. So it's gone to here, and do I need to spell out? Do I need to? Do I have language above already that establishes you can't exceed your max channel limit unless a power or ability specifies otherwise? I'm going to copy that. I'm going to make a comment out of it. And then I'm going to add that comment. And then I'm going to save it so that I can go back through and look for my comments to know that this is something that needs to be answered. Plus the highlight will piss me off, so it'll get me to answer it next time. But I want to break my flow right now. So we'll see. But yeah, okay. So you don't necessarily need to take grappling strike, but it does allow you to do more damage if you really want to be grappling all the time. Then you would either need to have the grapple mastery or the grappling strike power. But this is definitely worth. God, that's so worth it for. Okay, so we're working on the brute. That was like 100% worth it. So let's go down to the feats, damages, and meta powers and see what cool stuff is out here. We already got the grappler for free. And so is there something else that we want to pick up? Con save or is blinded and deafened. That's kind of brute-like. Topple's not bad. Try to hit con save or be prone. Maybe we go with does tripping strike automatically? Wait. Does topple automatically trip people, or do they get a saving throw? That's actually incredibly important. Constitution saving throw. Good. And so the tripping strike, which requires mana, should automatically knock people prone. Let's go up and verify. I think tripping strike is going to be better than topple because I don't want them to have a saving throw if it's going to be a debuff. All they got to do is fucking stand up again. So it's not like they really they get to slow down a little bit, which is what tanky things are supposed to do. They're supposed to slow stuff down. And at first level, that feels fairly reasonable. A little extra damage and knock you down. So tripping strike, that is what we're looking for. Tripping strike, weapon damage increases by 1 power die per mana burn, and you knock the target, creature, and you knock the target creature prone if it is one size larger than you or smaller. Better wording. Spend 3 mana. You can trip a creature 2 sizes larger than you. If you spend 5 mana. These aren't kickers. These are just minimum spins. So when you spend 3 or more, kicker effects are typically like when the thing has a limit on its capability. We normally see kicker effects and sustained powers. I don't actually know. Oh yeah, here's a kicker. Downtrodden. As a reaction to when an enemy you can see within range of your weapon attack becomes prone, you can make an opportunity attack against them. And then as a kicker effect, roll 1 power. That's a self-contained idea. And it only requires first rank to do it. But the kicker effect is a separate roll from actually activating, because you have a cap on how much mana you can spend. So if I'm a first level character and I can only channel first rank powers, I couldn't do 2 mana to activate this. It's only so like downtrodden for 1 mana, and then adding another die of mana to increase the die roll. This is a separate effect. So we call a kicker a separate use of power, even though it's kicking the downtrodden. Downtrodden is a reaction, but the kicker effect's actually an exploit. So you can trigger exploits at any time. So instead of labeling it as an exploit, we're calling it a kicker, so you don't think that it's just its own exploit. It's treated as an exploit. An exploit modifies a die roll or other action economy without being its own thing. So you have to do something else to be able to use the exploit. The exploit modifies when you do this thing, it changes it this way. So the kicker effect as an exploit is changing downtrodden, so that you're automatically going to get your opportunity attack, but now you can dump more mana into it, and if you do, you can increase your attack roll. But that's separate from actually knocking somebody down. And since there's no action you actually need, you're just waiting for somebody to be prone. As a reaction to an enemy you can see within range of your weapon attack becomes prone. Make an opportunity, yeah. On their way down, you can basically double tap them on the way down. So that's an example of that. So the kicker effect for the tripping strike, this is damage that ramps because it's a strike power. Every time you add another point of mana, you can deal more damage. I don't think we have any strikes that have kicker powers. I think it's just if you're doing a strike, if you spend this much, you get to do this extra benefit. Yeah, there's no kicker effects on strikes. But there are kicker effects for reactions, and there's kicker effects for maneuvers, and there's kicker effects for sustained powers. So basically just not strikes. So that's how that logic works. So close quarter combat and yeah, tripping strike. And since we had no other direction above, once per turn, unless stated otherwise. Each discipline can be used once per turn, unless stated otherwise. Meta powers. Well, meta powers are always active. There we go. 20-minute timer. 4:30. How long have we been at this? Almost an hour. Good. Good. It feels like things are flowing smoothly right now. Where's my bits? I'm gonna check in on my camera real quick here. Yeah, okay, good. Get back to work, Kearney. I'm gonna take a sip of water and then get back to work. Thank you. I feel like I want to go back and look at my Twitter real quick. Good. Okay, cool. Everything lined up. Okay, great. No worries, no fears. All right, back to work. So sharpshooter, that made sense. Yeah, tripping, striking, close quarter combat, that makes a lot of sense. At second rank, it feels like we should take downtrodden. That's exploit 1. Oh no, I'm sorry, that's reaction 1. There you go. The brutes are designed to hit hard and keep you in place. So this is not necessarily keep you in place. I think this is dealing extra damage. This is locking you down and preventing you from making attacks against people. Downtrodden is allowing them to double tap you when because you can use a reaction on your own turn. So he can knock you prone, and he does so automatically when he hits you. And then while he does, he can use a reaction to downtrod you. So he's going to hit you again. So that's a really strong brute action loop to be kicking through. Let's see. What's some third rank shit you can do here, buddy? Let's go down to sustained powers and see if there's anything posh that feels good. Extended reach. Your reach increases by 5 feet per point of mana sustained this way. Holy Hannah, that's not a bad idea. Instant skill, lycanthropy, power armor, and power shield aren't a bad idea. Your armor class is 11 plus your dex mod plus your max rank of power. Ooh, power shield. You create a defensive field of power that can be wielded as a shield that you are proficient with. This shield hovers in space to protect you, leaving your hands free. The bonus to your armor class gained from the shield is equal to 1 plus your max rank of power. At this point, it'll be a +4. You can benefit. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Let's take power shield. because we're double tapping the crap out of people here. So power shield gets them good and tanky. That's going to be +1. And let's go find something real defensive. I think we have enough damage capacity right now, so let's go do... ooh, cleave isn't a bad idea. I feel like, I feel like this is more of a controller. This is more of a controller than it is a brute. I've been building the wrong thing. Okay, let's finish our thoughts with controller here. And then we'll get into like brute. We can use different ideas. A brute's just going to be savage hit points and savage damage, savage hit points, and just tankiness. The controller is going to be less interested, like downtrodden. God, that's a... Do I? No. Okay, let's just keep this guy. Let's keep this guy as a bag of meat. So, downtrodden. The tripping power deals shitloads of damage. The downtrodden double taps them, which you can use tripping strike on them again if you wanted to. They're already prone, but you can at least ramp up the damage. But yeah, we're looking at power shield. That is actually a good idea. So let's go with power shield to ramp the armor class by 4. +1. And now we want more hit points, more damage, more defense. So more defense. More defense. Reactions probably. Let's see. Defense. As a reaction to when you or an ally within reach of your melee attacks are hit by an attack roll from a source you can see, the attack is re-rolled, taking the new... Well, your reaction per round is going to get eaten almost all the time by downtrodden. But, let's look at... how about roll with the hit as a reaction to taking damage from an attack. Your saving grace, re-roll a d20 test, roll with the hit as a reaction to taking damage from an attack. Reduce the damage by half. That's not bad. How about adaptive resistance instead? Natural. When you sustain this power with 2 mana, you gain resistance to non-magical bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. This is a sustained power as well. Can we afford another sustained power? +1, +2, and then we get 2 levels of it. Adaptive resistance. +1. And I want to leave that tripping strike open. Brute, huh? What's some cool brute shit I can do to... I mean, there's double strike. We've already got the downtrodden and the tripping. It's going to have multi-attack naturally. Well, life-stealing strike. That's tanky. Your weapon can deal necrotic or... I feel like I should turn the music down a little bit. What do you think? Let me know. There, let's be like that. There. Bring that together. Sit that there. There we go. Yeah, life-stealing strike. Your weapon can deal necrotic or radiant damage and add 1 power die per mana spent. In addition, you can gain a number of temporary hit points equal to the result of the power dice rolled. Any temporary hit points that remain when you start a short or long rest are lost. Life-stealing strike is goddamn ridiculous at high levels. Yeah, that's gonna at this level. That's gonna be 5d12 hit points added each round when it hits. That is ridiculously brute. I feel like that should come in. That alone is just stupid tanky. I feel like I should replace downtrodden with that. Nah, I don't know. God. There's so many fun things you can do. It is a brute. Yeah, if we remove downtrodden and we push life-stealing strike forward, we can push power shield to 5 just to add in an extra +5 hit points at the end on top of whatever else it is you got going on. Adaptive resistance, that's going to give us resistance. Sustain. We don't have to worry about power shield until higher levels. Adaptive resistance and I wanted to add a reaction. Roll with the hit. That's the one I want to add. Or is it saving grace? Roll any d20. Re-roll any d20 test. No, let's go to roll with the hit. Reduce the damage by half. That's a reaction. 2. There. That's a decent kit for a brute. That's supposed to be a big bag of hit points that hits hard. Tripping strike and life stealing strike. Tripping strike sets you up at first level to close quarter combat. Gives you a lot. Maybe hold on. Yeah, because they can do it once per round. It's only a D4 here, but at second rank, that's life stealing comes in, and that's going to be 2d6 hit points, which is actually valuable. It'll ramp to eventually to 5d12. Roll with the hit allows you to roll 4 dice. At 5th, it'll be 5d12s and keep the best. Roll with the hit just automatically reduces damage by half. That's right. Use a reaction, cut the mana in half, the damage in half, if it's an attack roll. Adaptive resistance, that gives you resistance to something, anything. It costs 1 per resistance, or 2 for energy, and 2 for all kind of non-magical damage. Life Stealing Strike gives you temporary hit points every time you hit with it. You can use once per round. You can use this once per round. You can use close quarter combat once per round. So 2 attacks, life steal, and tripping strike. That's good sequence. 1 reaction here, super useful. Roll with the hit at first level might be a better idea. I can't have it at first level. Tripping strike. Do I want to, since they don't actually have to pay for the mana themselves and it just continues to build, maybe I do want to swap these out for the controller. And we can go with Life Stealing Strike here. Adaptive resistance. We can bring in adaptive resistance here. Life Stealing Strike up front, you're getting hit points. Roll with the hit, you can reduce any attack you make once per round to half. Adaptive resistance gives you reactions. Power shield at 5th. I just freed up. Yeah, I don't need to do all that grappling stuff. I think that's a distraction. So what's going to be another. I can't use a reaction. I already have one. So we have strike, reaction, sustained, another sustained. So we have an exploit that's open and a maneuver. Let's see if there's an exploit and a maneuver that we can use. Maneuvers. They'll give us some tankiness. Regeneration. This is a bonus action. You can spend a number of hit dice up to your max rank to regain a number of hit points equal to the amount rolled. I think I'd rather not. We already have the bag of hit. We already have the 10 hit points from the. We want to be able to whittle them down, but the temporary hit points becomes a tax, a damage tax they have to pay. So rally, quick help, flatten, goad. Let's see, unstoppable. Oof, unstoppable. Resilient save when you make a saving throw to reduce damage. If the save succeeds, you ooh, resilient save. Fucking perfect. Power shield. Sus 1. Exploit 3, is that what that is? EXP 3. Yeah. A resilient save. When you make a saving throw to reduce damage, if the save succeeds, you take no damage, or half if you fail. You decide to channel this power after you roll the save, but before you know the result. When you make a saving throw to reduce damage, if the save succeeds, you take no damage, or half if you fail. Roll the save, but before you know the result. After you roll a save, but before you know the result, do I want to just give it to you no matter what? That's what I'm laying out. It modifies the die roll, not the damage. Resilient save. Make a saving throw to reduce damage. It is 3rd rank. You can't get access to this till 9th level. If the save succeeds, you take no damage, or half if you fail. It's not a reaction. It modifies the saving throw. So you should. When you make a saving throw, you can channel this exploit to reduce damage. No, wait a second. I'm misunderstanding it. When you make a saving throw to reduce damage, yeah, when you make the roll, yeah, you decide to channel this power after you roll the save, after you roll, but before you know the result. After, yeah, okay, yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's the way that I want it. And resilient save is a really good brute thing there. There, cool. So we have the brute done. Life stealing, it hits as hard as a truck and gets that many hit points. Roll with the hit is a reaction to reduce damage that it's going to take from an attack. Adaptive resistance gives you resistance to anything that you want. Power shield is going to increase your armor class, and then resilient save is going to reduce damage to half or none depending if you fail or pass. That is a big bag of hit points that hits hard. Just hits with life stealing strike every goddamn round. Yep, okay, cool. So that's good. What do we have over here? Adaptive resistance, sure. Tripping strike, I can see why I was doing that. Goading strike. Yeah, this is more of a tank, not a controller. So this is what I wanted for the controller. Yeah. Grappling strike. Sorry, close quarter combat. Sus 1 and chipping strike. STR1. Sus 1. Second rank is going to be downtrodden. You know what? I don't think that downtrodden punishes but doesn't control. We've already got damage coming through with the tripping strike, so we don't need that. If we're gonna build a controller, let's build a controller at low level. Yeah, close quarter combat to grapple you, tripping strike to knock you prone. I'll go with that. Let's go look at let's look at restraining strike. Hold on. Yeah, restraining strike. That could your damage increases by 1 power die per mana burn. The creature is restrained. Magical tethers. The creature can end the effect by succeeding the strength saving throw at the end of its turn. Size large or larger creatures roll with advantage. Thank you, timely timer. Let's keep it rolling. The creature is restrained until it breaks free, as opposed to, well, grappling lets you drag people around, which is good. Restraining roots them in place. So I would say restraining strike is actually better than tripping strike. So yeah, let's go with that. Restraining strike instead. That is good. And downtrodden does not matter. We want control. So let's see. One, two, three, four, five, six. Huh. Sweeping strike's pretty good. Poisoning strike is good. Dazing strike. Psychic damage. The target has to make a con save. If it fails, you can only do one of the following. Move or take an action or a bonus action. Paralyzing strike, you can't do any of them. Dazing strike lets you only do one of them. And the next attack roll against the target has advantage if the attack is made before the start of the next turn. Weapon damage. Finding strike, grappling strike, repositioning strike, restraining strike, thundering strike. Blinding strike. That's kind of controlly. I feel like provoking strike. That's where we want to be. Your weapon can deal psychic damage and add 1 power die per mana burned. The creature can only attack you until it can no longer see you or you are incapacitated. The creature can attempt to end the effect by succeeding a wisdom saving throw at the end of each of its turns. Creatures immune to charm save with advantage. And that is 3rd rank, yeah? Provoking strike. That's great. So let's put that at 3rd. So provoking strike. STR3. All right, we probably need a reaction, a sustain power, and a maneuver. I think the maneuver we're going to use is probably going to be Wave of Terror. I think that's is that a maneuver or is that a... Oh, God, that might be a sustained effect. Hold on, let's go find it. No. Daunting Presence. When sustained power attacks targeting you by creatures that you can see, roll with disadvantage. In addition, while sustaining its power, you can spend 1 mana and target a creature as a bonus action. If the target fails a wisdom saving throw, it is frightened of you until while it can see you. Wow. Yeah. While you can see it. Meaning it can't close its eyes, and okay, it's still gonna be scared. Frightened of you while you can see it. The creature can make an additional save at the end of its turn to end the frightened condition. This is considered to be a maneuver. Targeting you by creatures you can see, roll with disadvantage, and when you are the only target of an effect that requires you to make a saving throw, you roll with advantage. Daunting Presence feels like a solo boss thing, not as a controller. Controller is impeding the enemy. This is not doing that narratively. So I'm going to Deadly Presence. When you sustain this power, you're not restrained, stunned, paralyzed, or incapacitated. Any creature you can see that begins its turns or moves within reach of your melee attack takes 1 power die of damage. Kicker. When you sustain this power with 4 mana, the damage increases to 2 power dice. Expensive. Let's keep moving on. Power armor, Omnilinguist, control stuff. That's what we want. Control. Control. Powered ability, dire impact, crouching stance, close quarter combat. Okay, we're done with the sustained powers, so that's cool. Close quarter is grappling to drag you around, restraining to keep you from moving at all, provoking strike to make you attack them only. Let's explore our reaction options because I think we're okay with strikes. Controller. As a reaction to a source you can see targeting you with an attack. Okay, that's targeting you. That's a shutdown. That's a counter, not a control. Anchor. As a reaction to a creature you can see moving, teleporting, or shifting planes, whether voluntarily or forced. Before doing so, it takes 1 power die of damage per mana burned and must succeed a charisma saving throw. If it fails, it can't move, teleport, or shift planes until the beginning of its next turn. A falling, flying, or swimming creature targeted with this power remains fixed in the space it occupies until the duration ends. You can choose to forego dealing damage. Yeah, Anchor. That's insane. So we're going to put that at 4th. That's a great control power. Control. Controls attacks, controls movement and teleportation and plane shifting, controls movement in a separate way, so we're controlling movement. Provoking strike, we're controlling attacks. We're controlling Position. Sentinel. So obvious. Sentinel's a great freaking power. Feat. Yeah, hit somebody, they stop moving. There you go. We can push Restraining Strike to second because the Sentinel is going to stop their movements. Restraining Strike is is prophylactically stopping it. Close quarter combat. Cool. Got that. Got that. Restraining Strike. Provoking Strike. Anchor. Anchor feels good at fourth. And then control. We need something. Sleeper Hold. While grappling, you can force the grappled creature to make a Constitution saving throw. If it fails, the creature becomes unconscious until the grapple ends. The creature takes damage. Until the grapple ends, the creature takes damage, or it succeeds a Constitution saving throw at the end of each of its turns. Sleeper Hold. Holy shit. Is that right? No, it's only reaction 3. God, that's so nasty. Because we have the grappler, we have the close quarter combat so early. That feels so right. What a great way to capstone your close quarter stuff to come all the way back around to Sleeper Hold. I mean, there's a lot of different ways we could have played controller. Like we could have used telekinetic bubble to trap things and impenetrable force. We could build out a couple different kits of like types of like this is like a brawler control. You know what? I think I'm going to do that. Let's go ahead and do that. Powers known by rank. Let's go with melee control. Range control. Neat. When we're building out, like we can build these out like stat blocks almost, like have a couple listed on a page. Oh, I'm liking this. This is fun. This is super fun. All right, let's keep at this. This is Tuesday. So tomorrow is Wednesday. I have to road trip some more tomorrow, so I won't be on in the morning again. And I won't be, I'm not going to be around at all tomorrow. So every quarter I have to do some travel stuff like this. So I shan't be around until Thursday, in which case on Thursday I will be, I'll be back on in the morning to do more Eberron stuff and resume my normal morning schedule. And then I might be a little late on Thursday, but I'll be back on Thursday night to continue with Martial Powers as well. And then Friday I'll be back on Eberron in the morning, Martial Powers at lunchtime, and we'll be back into our normal routine. Weird. Okay, so we're going to do range control. So we're going to move Anchor from 4th here. We're going to drop it here. So I want a different type of control for the melee character. So let's see, is there a different control thing we can use? Theurgy. Isn't that, hold on. Off the head, anchor, curse, defensive is a strike. Second rank, you can only do one of the following. Dazing strike. Second rank. Do only 2 of the following: move, take an action, or a bonus action. Dazing strike and then paralyzing strike. It does. Can't do anything. I want to upgrade that. Just because I can. Three, 4, 6, 14. Dazing strike removes 1. Paralyzed takes away all 3. Which is why I push it to 4. See, this is the second, it takes away 1. 3 should take away 2. And 4 should take away 3. So 2 is dazing. Daze, paralyze. How about synonym for daze? Senseless, knockout, astound, amaze, astonish, startle. Silly, stupefied, befuddled. Isn't that what battle? No, wait, wrong. There. What was the maneuver? That's what triggered this. Theurgy. No, it should be 1 because you're not dealing any damage to it. So you can deal damage and do an effect. Do damage and deal 2 effect. Do damage and deal 3 effect. The lethargy gets a saving throw without any other effect. So that is appropriate to leave like that as lethargy. So we add another strike. Befuddle. That was called lethargy. Do we call this befuddling strike? Nah. Addled already exists as a thing. Slap happy. Addlepated. How about synonym for incapacitated? Paralyzed, out of action, disabled, debilitated, indisposed, laid up. How about synonym for hampered? Hold back, interfere, restricting, restraining, constraining, frustrated. Crippling. Restraining strike, is that first rank? It should be, right? Yeah, because that takes away 1 thing from you. Provoking strike, intimidating strike. Maybe what's it called up here? Dazing, dazed, stunned. Paralyzed. That's kind of the progression. Dazed, stunned, paralyzed, you know? How about cinnamon for stunned? That's what I want. I can't use stun because stunning strike already exists in the monk, so I need to create identity staggering blow. Stupefied. There it is. Staggering versus whatever. Dazing strike. I don't know what's worse. Is dazed worse than staggered? All right, well, Pathfinder's there for us. Brewkeeper, I think it's probably designed, blah, 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 effects. Okay, so staggered is generally worse than dazed. So that's what we'll do. Thank you, Timely Timer. I said thank you. Time flies when you're having fun, son. Staggering strike. Hey, what's up? Maka25 Max 2K5. Hey. Sorry I forgot your name wrong. I don't know how to speak or read. This is the martial power system. It's an alternate magic system for martial characters that is not spellcasting. Give me a second here to catch up on Staggering Strike. Burnout and select only do one. We have Dazing Strike, which allows you to do 2 of move, action, or bonus action. Then we have Staggering Strike for 3 mana that allows you to do 1 of the following: move, take an action, or a bonus action. And then this is for 5e. And then we have Paralyzing Strike, which is 4 mana, which is you can't do any one of those 3 things, as opposed to first level or first rank 1 mana allows prevents people from in this instance from moving, or like in this instance moving at all. Restraining Strike is they can't move at all, while grappling is they can't move but I can move them. And then Tripping Strike is I knock them down. Thundering Strike is I push them. Shocking Strike is I take away their opportunity attacks. So at first rank I can deal extra damage and either gain an edge over them or debilitate them in one way, in one specific way. At second rank I can deal damage and have you choose which one thing they're going to lose. So it's going to be a little bit more flexible, so it's a higher rank. And then at third, with Staggering Strike, it's even more flexible for you to choose. So it costs more, and it takes away more of your enemy's action economy. And then at fourth, Paralyzing Strike is deals psychic damage, and the creature is paralyzed, versus Knockout Strike, which is your damage increases by 1 power die, and the creature becomes unconscious, and the creature makes a Constitution saving throw at the end of its turn, ending the effect early. If the creature takes damage or another, you know what? I can get rid of Paralyzing Strike because that I am good with that. You basically get 1 free crit on them when you use this, and that'll wake them up because any damage or action another creature takes to awaken them ends the condition of unconsciousness. So hey, what's up? So you're adding maneuvers to... Yeah. Sorry, yeah, you're new. Hi. This is our episode 171 of building up the system, essentially from scratch. It started with taking all the different things that martial characters can do, and then creating a mana system to use it with. And just to recap here, and I don't mind recapping at all. It's a half casting progression system. It uses the mana system that I have on the DMsGuild for reference. Here on the DMsGuild, you can read all my stuff at no cost. If you want to buy a book, you're basically telling me to make more of them because you like the one that you read already so much. So here is the color mana spell point variant rule system. It's designed to be used as either just generic mana, or if you want to be an MTG enthusiast, you can use the color mana spell point variant rules where each point of mana is assigned to a specific color. The way that the base system works, here I'll crack open the universal spell points here. Check out the free preview. So the base chassis of this thing is very simple. It's whatever the level of spell equal. Actually, the spell point Warlocks illustrates it better. So let's go up here. Spell point Warlocks. This is pay what you want. God, it's a gold medal already. I love it. I'm so proud of that. Spell point Warlock. Okay, so here you go. This is the DMG version, but I don't think they have spell points in the DMG 2024. So I'm going to push it back into the appendix when I rebuild it. But here's the USP system. So level 1 to 10. A Wish is a 10th level spell. You get access to it at 19th level. A first level spell costs 1 mana. 5th level spell costs 5 mana. Blah, blah, blah. There you go. So the Warlock, spell point Warlock, has 1 mana per level, 1 to 20, just like a monk has key, level 1 to 20 or whatever. It also has Arcanum at higher levels, which you gain on a long rest, but that's beside the point. With the martial power system, it's framed the same way, of 1 to 20 mana. So if you want to see how the we've been building and adding spellcasting mechanics to Magic the Gathering meta mechanics in this series of books since 2017. If you're a Magic the Gathering enthusiast, check this out. The revised color mana spell list. It opens up the spell options based on what color it is. Like here's some themes that you generally see in these different colors, and here's the damage types that are associated with each color. If you're an MTG guy. And then using this damage type and these general aspects of Magic mechanics inside the D&D game, we can come to a conclusion of like white, blue, black, red, green. Like acid splash, acid is in Magic Gathering, typically a blue and green effect. So it would be labeled as a black or a green spell. So if you want to throw a fireball, which is traditionally a red spell, fireball, red, it takes 3 mana to throw it. If you're just using general mana, then you just spend 3 points of mana, you lob a fireball, Bob is your uncle. But if you're using the color mana system, if fireball is red, or if you're using elemental magic, fireball is fire, then you would spend 1 point of red mana, and the other 2 points can be whatever you want, but you have to have at least 1 point of red mana in there to qualify for it. So if you want to add that level of complexity, you're now forcing casters to guess how much of a color they're going to need before they get another rest. And whenever you take a short or a long rest, you can reset the color of any mana that you have left, whether you get it back as a Warlock or whatever, or only back on a long rest. But if you take a short rest, you can recalibrate your colors so they're devoted to whatever colors you need right now. So your spells can align with the mana that you have. But that is an added level of complexity that you can choose to implement in your campaigns. Like I'm running Curse of Strahd. I'm playing in Curse of Strahd right now, and everyone's using the normal game. But I'm playing a Divine Sorcerer, and he's letting me use the spell point Warlock, the spell point Sorcerer. So all of my spells are white and green, and like Radiant Bolt is a white spell. Web is a green spell. Cure Wounds is both a white and a green spell. So like it's really easy for the type of sorcerer I want to play to fit inside of just white and green magic. And so I decide when I get my mana, or whenever we take a short rest, I'm going to recalibrate how much white versus green that I have. And if a spell isn't white or green, I can learn it twice. Once to learn it, and then to learn it again, so that it's the color that I want. And if I really like it, I could, instead of preparing it that way, I could go research it and have it permanently the color that I like to use it in. And as like in Ravnica or whatever, as you gain renown, or like in Strixhaven, as you gain years of seniority at the academy, you can get access to more spells for free that you can research at no cost to be able to pull in more colors into the mana that you want. But again, that's completely optional. But the universal system is there you go. It's a 1-for-1 ratio. That's the core of it. So the barbarian, the fighter, the rogue, the monk, the paladin, the ranger, they all can use martial powers. Artificers as half-casters uses the same half-casting system, but is only a spellcaster, but can use infusions to put these powers into objects and use their mana to use them. And warlocks can use invocations. So if you if you learn a power as an invocation, you can now spend your warlock's mana on that power. Otherwise, spellcasting gives you no levels in power at all. So a 10th level fighter, 10th level wizard would have 10 levels of spellcasting and 10 levels of martial power as a half-caster. So you'd have access to 3rd rank powers, but powers only go up to 4th rank by 13th level. The 17th level is basically bonus mana that you can upcast, quote-unquote, upcast the powers with. So all of these classes get access, like the pure martial classes only get powers. The paladin and ranger as half-casters, they're hybrids. They can learn as many spells or powers as they want and spend their mana pool accordingly. Yeah, and then they all have their own little cheat systems. Like they can get free mana by like giving up action economy. If you give up a bonus action, you get mana. If you give up movement, you get mana. If you give up attacks, you get mana. So if all you want to do is just hit this guy really, really hard, you can dump all of your action economy into one punch. And you can like hit him for like at really high levels, like an extra 6 mana worth of damage on that punch if you wanted to. But now you're done for the round. So there you go. Like fun stuff like that. Like a paladin can punch up to, I think 8. A paladin can punch up to 8 dice of 8d10 damage per round if they're willing to spend 5 mana while they're doing it. And that's all they want to do this round. Like they can really just dump in. So, but you can do that as a 20th level, like an 18th level sorcerer, 2nd level paladin in 2024 can put in 10d8 plus an extra d8, 11d8 damage, up to 88 damage versus our 8d10, which is 80 damage. So, and then if it's like an undead, or it would be 90-10. So it'd be our way we can do it 90 damage. Their way, with multi-classing the sorcerer. You can do 9, 10, 10d8. So anyway, there you go. So if you have 5 red mana, let's say 10 of any other mana, you can cast 5 fireballs. Yes, that is exactly how it works. But no, wait, 5 fireballs, right? And then if you take a rest and you had some mana left over, but you ran out of red, you could just switch a point to red and you can lob another fireball. So I've been using the system. I ran a 1 to 20 campaign over the course of 5 years using this system. The mechanics are pretty strong. We did some playtesting like level 3 to 6, some additional playtesting at level 16 to 20, as well as some testing at level 5, 6, and 7. And now I'm playtesting a sorcerer as well, but that's not martial powers. So we've ran a lot of math and a lot of different types of characters and levels of play using the mana system in general. So it's pretty tight, and it works really well. And this Martial Powers project is getting every single class on the same resource system so that you can now freely multi-class and have your mana pool combined. It's now just a matter of, am I really good at spellcasting? I can ramp my mana into that. Am I really good at martial powers? I can ramp my mana into that. If I do both, I'm not going to be great at either one of them, except for the Paladin and the Ranger. They are really great at martial powers while only being so at magic. So there's a really interesting divide between the two systems, but your resources get to bounce back and forth between the two of them while limiting your palette. Like powers don't have color assignments. It's just a narrative element. I'm a Rakdos barbarian. All of my powers are black and red effects, for instance, or like I'm an earth barbarian. All of my effects are earthen powered, so I describe everything as earthen because the only kind of mana I have is earth. Meanwhile, the rogue might be a water elementalist. The monk might be an airbender, stuff like that. Whatever. The ranger might be a fire elementalist. So in that instance, it becomes only narrative, and then you just assign the damage accordingly. But if you want to dive in deeper, yeah, you can assign specific points. That's a self-imposed nerf that basically takes a lot of the versatility out of the spellcaster and gives you more complexity to dial in the narrative. Like, you get more narrative control by depicting your character that way. Crap, I'm out of red mana. I need to come up with another solution. Like, that's a role-playing element that existed in first and second edition all the time. Like, I'm out of fireballs for the day. I have like 4 more spells and none of them are fireballs, so let's figure out some options. Like, that's how D&D used to play, and there was much less power divide between the marshals and the spellcasters. So this is a way to be able to take away that edge a little bit and give you more narrative depth if you choose to engage with it. So anyway, so that's a quick crash course. And all these powers, there's meta powers that don't require mana. They're like cantrips, including feats, weapon masteries that you can use with any weapon, and just damage. Like, I'm going to do fire damage with my attacks, or I'm going to do poison damage with my attacks, or whatever. These are things that you can prepare as a power from your list of powers, and everyone has the same power progression. The Warlock has its own thing, but the artificer, ranger, paladin, all the martial classes, they all use the same progression. So by 20th level, you'll have 23 powers in total, and that also includes fighting styles and weapon masteries that your character would acquire. So between that and between the fighting styles one, the weapon masteries is typically anywhere from 2 to 4. So that's going to be like 3 to 5 powers that you're getting that you could spend on those feats if you wanted to. And otherwise, you'd have about 18 powers to spend, which isn't too far off of alignment with what, like, the paladin and the ranger get 15 already as it is. The warlock gets 17 plus 10 invocations, for instance. So it all kind of levels out that way. So 80 cantrip type effects, including like 40 feats and all the other yada blah. And then the actual disciplines of exploits that modify die rolls, maneuvers that are either actions or bonus actions to trigger that either do something to yourself or somebody else. Reactions trigger on an effect, and you use a reaction, and you spend your points to do it. Strikes are on hit effects. I hit you, I'm going to spend mana, I'm going to do something, I'm going to do an extra condition and more damage to you, like Divine Smite was in 2014. But now all the spell effects are Divine Smite kicker effects. And then sustained powers are like non-concentration self-buff auras, and that you can stack. At 17th level, you have 5th rank power. You can have up to 5 ranks of sustained powers stacked on yourself. Like, the haste equivalent is celerity. It's a 3rd rank power. So by the time your character is level 9, you can have 3 ranks worth of something active. So I could turn on celerity, which is a non-stunning self-buffing haste effect that you can have on. Or like, I could take, for instance, giant growth. If I spend 2 mana on giant growth, I'm now large until I turn it off or somebody dispels me, and then it allows me to gain, advantages on stuff. That's 2nd rank, so then I'd have at 9th level 1 left over. Maybe I'd take lycanthropy, which is a 1st rank power. So lycanthropy allows us to, we gain advantages on our sense. Feral Might, we gain advantages on attack rolls, and we gain a natural weapon that deals damage equal to our power die plus an ability modifier. So I could take lycanthropy, and I could take giant growth, and I could be a large size werewolf. And then once I get to 13th level, when I can channel up to 4 ranks, I could be a huge size creature, but I would have to be 17th level to be both huge and a werewolf at the same time, because that's a total of 5, right? Or I could just take 5 1st rank powers like Dire Impact, Crouching Stance, Close Quarter Combat, and Blind Sense, and what, I got 1 left over? Adaptive Resistance. There you go. And I can pick up fire resistance or something. That's 5 effects I can stack on top of each other. And you don't have to concentrate on them, but they can be dispelled. So, because you're in combat all the time, you shouldn't have to, if you don't have to concentrate on things, that's great. But the paladin and the ranger, they still have to concentrate on spells, and those spells get in the way of their sustained powers. So if you have 5 ranks of power, or therefore able to cast 5th level spells as a ranger or paladin, like if I have Swift Quiver on as a paladin, that's 5th level spell I'm concentrating on. I can't sustain any powers while I do that. So you have that trade-off. So, but it allows you to completely gish. So super fun. And so right now what we're doing is we're taking these different, so we've taken all of the different classes and we've translated them into this power system. So like the barbarian has its 20 level progression, and we've made modifications to its abilities depending on how this power resource works. Each class is a little changed. So, and we detail what all those changes are, and then we have their paths, and they gain bonus powers for their, just like everyone else gets bonus spells. Now berserkers get bonus powers, so you get your 23 powers plus the 10 powers you get off of this. That allows you to keep up in your variety of prepared powers to be equal to like where a bard is at. So features, all the features are translated as needed. We've done this for all the classes already. This is a read-only document you have access to if you're interested. If you want to participate in the playtesting, join me here in Discord. If you want to look over the document first to see if you think it's interesting or not, you can jump in here through my Patreon, free access. It's read-only for you. So there you go. Just click through in my description down here. You can get access to it, take a look at it. If you think it's cool, jump into my Discord. Open, it's open place. That's where I recruit. So if you want to guarantee a seat when I start up playtesting again in November, then if you spend $1 on my Discord, on my Patreon, you get preference. I ask people on Patreon, do you want to play? And of those that say, yeah, I want to play, whatever seats are left over, I then open up to Discord. So you get early access to the approval process if you are a paying Patreon member for $1 a month. And I'll be doing that from November probably until March, from level 3 to 10. So that's what's coming up. But right now, since we have all these powers that we have, like the Path of the Zealot, here's the 10 powers that you get as a Zealot, as opposed to what you got as the World Tree or whatever. So we have these all built out for all the different classes. And so just like we give the subclasses for characters kits of power, right now what we're doing is we're giving monsters kits of power. And the monsters are getting their kits of power based on the template role that they have as was defined in 4th edition. 4th edition had roles for each monster, so you knew what to expect from them. And here's the different roles that you could have: artillery, range, distance, brute, bag of hit points, hits hard, controller. It shuts down action, economy, and movement. Lurker is a hidden assassin. Skirmisher hits you and then gets away. Soldiers are more effective the more of them that work together. And then solo bosses are designed to just be able to take on whole parties at the same time. So here's the power kit that we have, ranks 1 to 5. Here's the power die that they roll, which is different from the power dice that we roll. We roll power dice. A D6 at first, a D8 at 9th, and a D10 at 17th. The Battle Master fighter gets a D8. D10, D12 starting at 3rd level, so they're better. And the monk gets to use as martial arts dice. So it's a D6, then a D8, then a D10, and then a D12 here at 17. So some of them are better. And the ranger, when you have hunter's mark on, your die increases, and you get extra, and you automatically deal additional dice of damage when you hit. The paladin, when they use their bonus action to perform a smite, they deal extra dice of damage beyond what they would normally be able to do when they spend mana on it. So like all of these have like the barbarian, when they can attack with advantage, if they forgo their advantage, they get bonus dice of damage to use on a strike power depending on what their level is. And the fighter has all sorts of cheats, like they get more attacks than anyone else, and they can give those up for free mana. They have action surge, which can be cashed in to gain extra mana, to spend on damage. A lot of like rogues can sacrifice sneak attack dice to get free mana to use strike powers with. They all have their own little things that they can cheat in stuff in different ways, so they're unique and they feel different from each other. Like the paladin's lay on hands can heal mana instead of hit points. So you can recharge anybody on your team if their battery's running low. You can use your paladin's lay on hands to restore them. Artificers can create mana stones that when you crush them, they give you mana back. So there's 2 resource classes now, the artificer and the paladin. So it's like really useful to have either one of those. So there's each of the classes have kind of like rebuilding their identity using the mana system to create new mechanical narratives for how the classes can work with the team, inspired by how they kind of look now in 2024. So anyway, yeah, I mean, it's a lot of work, but it's what I love to do. what I love to do is to break down mechanics and rebuild them in different ways. If you're really interested in other ideas, the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration book, that I'll just talk about myself here for a minute. Spelljammer Combat Exploration, we put this out in March. It took about a year and a half to build it after the Spelljammer Adventures in Space came out. But this book redefines combat at the 50 and 500 foot scale instead of the 5 foot scale. And when you pilot a ship, your essence infuses the ship and you basically animate it. So like if I'm animating this Night Spider ship, then I'm effectively druid shaping myself into a 200 foot spider that deals like, I think it's something like D8 times 10 damage every time it stabs at you with a leg, and its pincers can grapple, and I think they do 2d6 times 10 siege weapon damage. This wasp over here, like you can see they all have weapons on their back. These are siege weapons. So we have an action economy system that allows you to potentially fire a weapon more than once per round, depending on how high of a level your character is and how efficient your crew is at being able to load, aim, and fire weapons. So it's an entire system that scales from the 5 foot, 50 foot, to 500 foot scale of combat. And it's all laid out here for you. So you can see here's the 5 foot scale where you can like, hold on, this is a better one. Here's the 500 foot square. So this 10 by 10 space, that's 1 mile. This is from Light of Zaraxis, by the way. This is the Citadel in Light of Zaraxis. It's your boss fight at the end of the adventure. Spoiler alerts. Each one of these is 500 foot squares. So you can see each one of these is occupied by a token of hammerhead ships versus star moths. But if you zoom in on these squares, you can see at the 50 foot scale, this square, this 10 by 10 space is a 500 foot square. And you can see that inside that 500 foot, you can fit a number of ships together in a formation. This becomes a squadron. And this becomes a squadron which can be operated with your action economy as a commander of a fleet. So a single character can order all of these ships in this fleet to these are broken their chains. Like this group here would operate as one single unit, and this one over here would operate a single unit. But each of these, as you can see, has 2 hammerhead ships in them, while across the way, each one of these squadrons in the fleet has 3 Star Moth ships and some Warhawks. And so you can see here, as you zoom in at the 50 foot scale, this Warhawk occupies a single 50 foot, while this Hammerhead ship occupies a 250 foot. So if this Warhawk then closes distance to drop a Marine boarding party onto the back of the Hammerhead ship, we're now at the 5 foot scale, where you can see the Warhawk occupies a 10 by 10 space, a 50 foot square, and it's now unloading elven troops at the 5 foot scale to start storming and attacking this Hammerhead ship. So we can operate in squads and fleets at the 500 and 50 foot scale. We can engage at range combat or melee combat at the 50 foot scale between ships. And if you want to board and get personal, we can then scale into the 5 foot scale and resolve that. Like I take systems and I rebuild them and redesign them so that you can use them in different ways to create new narratives for your campaign. So like there's a fleet battle in Light of Zaraxis, but they just make it so that it's background, and each round 1 or 2 ships is lost from either side. Otherwise, ignore it and just conduct your normal battles. Like, well, I want to conduct a battle as a fleet, so I built a book to teach you how to do that. So you can check this out. It has all the shit that you need to run Light of Zaraxis out of the box, and the whole back end here. Hold on. That's a navigation button. The back end of this Appendix 2 converts the entire Light of Zaraxis adventure into these mechanics. So if you have Light of Zaraxis and you want to use this supplement, this 20-page this 20-page guideline teaches you how to use all the mechanics in this book through the Light of Zaraxis encounters. So you can effectively learn how to make fleet combat as a round-to-round combat with the same level of dynamic activity that you would expect if if you had 2 horses and your team was on 2 horsebacks. How would they maneuver around on horseback using their action economy to fire weapons while the horses casting spells and stuff like that while the horse is running around? This basically lets you do that if your horse were like 250 feet in size. Same thing. And you have like squadrons of little fighter ships So you got little fighters like that Warhawk can board the deck. We have fleet and fighter craft encounters inside of here. We built an asteroid field for Topola's Towers, so you could have your team and fighter craft chasing after the space sharks that are plaguing the area, which is your condition for getting help from the sage to find the next location you're supposed to go to. So we have all the details about how to do that, and we provide all the maps these are all tokens. All these characters and stuff, these are actual tokens for Light of Xeraxes that you get in a kit when you buy this thing. So cool shit like that. So the mana system, we have an ability check casting system that lets like a CR1 peasant cast wish, but it's probably going to go wrong, so it's going to create a mishap, which is basically an adventure seed generator for you. Like stupid peasant tries to do horrible magic to get something back, and everything goes wrong. And you can just make an episodic adventure out of what's the level of spell that went wrong, what's the effect that happened for it. But if your characters are really good at making ability checks and working together, you could basically cast magic for free if you're willing to spend some time to do it. So these are the different types of stuff that the Pacts and Patrons of Ravnica. I rebuilt all the guilds in Ravnica. I rebuilt them into otherworldly patrons. So if you want to be a guild mage of Azorius, then you're basically you take a warlock and become take a pact with Azorius. So you gain all the Azorius powers. You gain the bonus list of powers, that list of spells from the player's handbook that you would get for these characters. I'm going to update this for 2024 as well. But anyway, that's my stuff. So you think it's cool, check it out. If you're interested in playtesting the system, jump into my Discord and say hi. So 4th edition created roles for monsters, just like character classes and subclasses create roles for your characters. So we're creating kits of powers to express what those roles are. So we got through like a general artillerist, lobbing ranged attacks on people. So here's the different powers that they get as they gain higher CR. They increase in rank, so they can do more and more horrible things to you to control you. That's the artillerist. Yeah, crossbow expert and sharpshooter for goblins. Second rank, like a gnoll, for instance, might have ranged assault as well, so it's magicking up ammunition to attack you with. Third rank, CR10. I'm having a hard time thinking about artillerist offhand, but they basically ignore cover and gain bonus dice to hit you. Double strike, they can attack more often. Bursting strike, they deal damage to everyone around like actual artillery. And then brutes are basically giant sacks of hit points. So every time they hit you, they get temporary hit points. They can use a reaction to reduce the damage they take from an attack by half. They can pick up resistance to different types of damages. They gain an armor class boost. And in the end, whenever they make a saving throw to reduce damage, they take none if they succeed. So that's how you make a brute at different ranks of power. So they become more and more fucking tough to kill. So you can just have them sit on your team as a bag of hit points. They're brutes. You can't ignore them. They will kill you if you do. So right now we're working, and so the brute came through well. So now we're going to delete that. And when we're looking at when I started the controller here, let's get on one page. I was looking at a melee controller that has the Sentinel feat, of course, and then close quarter combat. So whenever it hits you with an attack, it can initiate and grapple you with the weapon. Restraining strike, if they hit you, you take extra damage and you're rooted until you can succeed a dex save to get out of it. Provoking strike forces you to attack the controller only until you can succeed an intelligence saving throw. Anchor is a reaction that doesn't belong here. Anchor, what that does is it prevents people from teleporting. So as a ranged controller, this is going to make a lot of sense, but this melee controller, I'm trying to make it just a brute. Like Sleeper Hold is if you have somebody grappled, they make a Constitution saving throw or they go to sleep. They're unconscious, which means, and as soon as they take damage, they wake up, but you get a free crit on them, basically. So, and if they do wake up, it ends the effect. So, let's see. So right now I am fishing for a 4th rank or lower replacement control effect that I would want a melee character to have. So, and again, you have access. You can look at this if you want and read along. If you think it's cool, you're welcome to ask me questions. But otherwise, I'm just going to keep digging through, and I'm trying to find a control power I know there's nothing waiting for me down in... we're done with meta powers. So we've gone through sustained powers. And the powers that would make sense in sustained feel more like boss fight stuff than just a generic minion controller. So I'm stepping away from that. And so no more sustained powers. We have enough. Power armor is just... They're already going to have a good armor class, so I don't have to worry about that. That's a real character... That's like a real character-facing option. Extended reach. Ooh. Extended reach isn't a bad idea. 5 points per mana sustained. They have one sustained power. We only have one sustained power. Okay, so let's do... oh, yeah. Okay, let's go with extended reach at 3rd. And then we'll drop in provoking strike to force you to attack them at 4th. That feels power appropriate. So 3rd we'll go with extended reach, which is... That's a sustained... No, that's an exploit, right? Yeah, it's an exploit. Which means that when you make the attack, you spend mana on this, and it lets you do the thing. So it's a first rank maneuver, but when a creature uses a power, they always use it at their max rank. So by the time they get up to 5th rank, which is CR 14 plus, here's our ranks for creatures, and this is in the Spelljammer book as well for different ranks of proficiency. Up to CR 1, CR 5, CR 9, CR 13. You're detecting a pattern there, and then above 14th level is CR 5 is 5th rank. And so the max rank of powers they can channel, which means how many dice they roll. And this is what type of dice they roll when they do. And this is how many powers that they know. So they know 2 at first, which is going to be like feats or like a first rank sustained power or something. But they can always use it at least once per round, if not all the time. And then as they go up, they get more and more things that they can do. Like the Brute, for instance, it has a life-stealing strike, and it has... let's use a better example. Sustain... no, this isn't a good example because it doesn't have any repetitive effects. It can do all that stuff all the time. Here's a good one. This has Restraining Strike to root you in place, and this has Provoking Strike to force you to attack them only. If this controller has 2 attacks per round, I could use Restraining Strike once, and I can use Provoking Strike once. So I'm going to switch up. If I have more than 2 attacks, I can't use powers in them anymore. So that last attack would be whatever. Maybe I sacrifice that attack to do something else. Who knows? But yeah, Provoking Strike, that feels good. Extended Reach, that's going to... with Sentinel Feet, that's going to make life really easy to keep people on top of people. And it'll also give me a crazy reach with my grappling, so I can put people to sleep. So that's how that is. Now we want to go to ranged control. So this is going to be a controller that is going to reduce your action economy or impede you, but doesn't have to be in melee combat to do it. So we're going to be leaning more into reactions and maneuvers for this character than we have for this one, which is all strikes and sustained and exploits. So let's go fishing. Looking at 1st level, 1st rank powers only. We want control effects. Let's go down. Let's see. Let's see if there's something down here that lets us do control-y stuff. Blind fighting, defensive duelist, interceptor, interception, protector, skulker. No, don't feel that there. We could go with it's target you hit can save or be prone. Close quarter, restraining. Let's do if we go with tripping strike, it automatically knocks them prone, and we can use that with ranged weapons, like an archer, for instance, or like a thrown spear trips you, or like a boomerang. Who knows? So maybe we go. Let's go with trip. Let's go with tripping strike. And maybe we go with. If we go sharpshooter, it would be an indication of what this character's role is. But I don't necessarily want to pigeonhole them with that. Actually, you know what? Let's actually instead, let's work from the front back. Let's go down to the exploits and see if there's any interesting control-based exploits that we can make use of. This list is far from exhaustive on things that we could do, but I'm trying to limit the palette to a small enough amount that we actually have opportunity to test this stuff. So, like, I don't want to put out stuff out there that can't actually be tested, so I have to limit my palette. And I already have a pretty wide palette, but most of these powers have actually been used. Channel power, there's no visual evidence. I don't need subtle channeling. So exploits are not it. Maneuvers, bonus action, coordinated attack. Distract. Target creature you can see and can see you cannot take reactions until it can no longer see you. That's perfect. Distract. Maneuver 1. Oops. And maneuvers can be done either as actions or bonus actions. They can be done twice. You can do both, action and bonus action. And if you ready an action by sacrificing it, you could do it as a readied action, of course, as well. So distract 1, that works. And, there's goad. Target creature that you can see and that can see and hear you makes attacks against creatures other than you with disadvantage until it successfully hits you. That's not bad. Shunt is decent. Target a number of creatures up to one size larger than you, equal to the amount of mana. Target a number of creatures up to one size larger than you, equal to the amount of mana channeled within 10 feet. Target a number of creatures within 10 feet. Let's order this differently. Within 10 feet, up to one size larger than you. Target a number of creatures equal to the amount of mana expended that are within 10 feet and up to one size larger than you. There. To make a strength saving throw or be pushed up to 10 feet per mana channeled directly away from you. You can add the highest power die roll to the save DC, and the range on these things, unless it says otherwise, is within 60 feet. So if something's within 60 feet, I can target. No, this says specifically within 10 feet of me, that are within 10 feet of me. So shunt is good. So shunt. This is also maneuver 1. So I can distract and shunt the same turn by eating my action and my bonus action. Pretty nice. Second rank. Let's see. This is when stuff starts coming in. Lethargy. If it fails, it can only do one of the following move or take an action. Right, lethargy. That's a great one to have. Lethargy. And that's also a maneuver 2, right? Yeah. And let's see. Third rank. Curse of Enfeeblement. You curse a creature that you can see to deal half damage with weapon attacks until the target can succeed a strength saving throw at the end of each of its turns. That's not bad. So we have Shunt, which pushes them, Distracts, which dings them, which disadvantages them. Lethargy, which takes away their action economy. Anchor, which locks them in place. If they try to move, teleport, or plane shift, Anchor deals damage and locks them in position. You can choose not to deal damage if you want. Lethargy takes away their action economy. So we have maintain. We have a lot of maneuvers. We have a reaction. I feel like telekinetic bubble is awesome. Let's add that in. Telekinetic bubble basically creates an odorless translucent sphere around yourself or the target, and they stay in there until they succeed a dexterity saving throw or you let it go. Typically, these things only last a minute. Like, everything has a duration of a minute unless it ends early because of a save. Unless the power states otherwise. It's typically either 1 round or up to a minute if they don't succeed a save first. That's basically everything in this book is formatted this way. We're trying to simplify stuff So everything has a consistent range, a consistent duration, a consistent action economy that can be used. So it's really simple. And we don't have to add a lot of additional text to the powers, that we can just provide short, snappy statements like, this is what it does. We already know the action economy that it uses because of what it is. We already know the cost because of what rank it is. So it's a very self-contained idea. Spells have a lot more caveats and to do about them, which kind of reflects the learned nature of what spellcasting is. It's like this big to-do with a bunch of stuff that you have to make it work, like a science experiment. While powers is just like instant reaction, instinctive stuff. Like, I just do this thing, it happens. And you pop and you spin your magic that way. So you aren't these full casters gain access to this super high dangerous level magic because they've really learned how to study and dive in deep. Your characters don't learn this super deep meta code level of magic. They just know how to make big impact go pop now, and they can do it a lot. So it's a very different vibe that powers have instead of spellcasting. So it helps make that divide feel clean while still having the same resource available for all characters to multi-class in and out of freely. So that's the idea. So artillery, brute, that's looking good. Lethargy, shunt, telekinetic bubble is also another maneuver 4. Let's see, is there, there's a reaction there. Let's see if there's another reaction that we like. Oh, there could be something, hold on. Curse of Enfeeblement, it makes you deal half. Curse of Enfeeblement, it's not a bad one. Beguiling Trance is pretty good. You can target a creature that you can see to make a wisdom check. Wisdom save, if it fails, it's charmed and cannot take actions until you no longer see it. You move beyond the range of its power, it takes damage, or it succeeds a wisdom saving throw. That's actually really good. Beguiling Trance. Let's see if there's something that's a little less, like Beguiling Trance really makes me think of Medusa. I want to be a little less flavor, like less directed, less channeled, less steered. Like this stuff is all really generic, like really, really generic. I can go with either one of these, but let's see if there's something fun to play elsewhere. Oh, deflection. That's not bad. As a reaction to when you or an ally within reach of your melee attack. So if you're next to somebody you can control, interpose as a reaction to when an ally within reach of your melee attack takes damage from a source you can see. You can take any portion of that damage and gain resistance to it. These are all soldier type things. So what about countering attack? No, that's an attack. I'm trying to keep these guys off of weapons altogether if I can. Redirect as a reaction to when a creature within reach of your melee weapon that you can see hits another creature with an attack. No, I'm not going to do that. Though that is a really, really good thing to partner with extended reach. Oh, God, that's so good. Anchor, Curse of Exposure. Ooh, Defense Barrier. As a reaction to a source you can see targeting me with an attack. Hexproof, Rite of Revival. Skipping Strikes because of the tone. Let's see. Is there instant skill? Okay, let's go to the very... We're scraping the barrel and going back to the sustained powers to see if something I like. Master of Fate, nah. Windstrider, nah. Mind Sense, no. Ghostwalker, Daunting Presence. Attacking against a creature you can see. Roll with disadvantage. While sustaining this power, attacks targeting you by creatures you can see. Roll with disadvantage. And when you are the only target of an effect, you roll with advantage on the saving throw. In addition, while sustaining this power, you can spend 1 mana and target a creature as a bonus action to become afraid of you. So that's the kicker there. Is I can spend a point of mana as a maneuver, and force something to get scared if I succeed. Daunting Presence. That's it. All right, we'll take it. it's third. Sustained power 3. And it's the only sustained power we have, so that's fun. Cool. Okay, so now we have a controller that's all about being within reach, and the range control that is all about not being in reach and keeping you out of reach. So that's super cool. I'm super down with that. What are we looking at down here? Close quarter, that was it. Anchor, we had that. Countering a telekinetic bubble, I can see that. And then countering attack, we skipped that. Countering attack basically lets you hit somebody if they try to use the magic action. And if they fail their concentration saving, if they fail their saving throw, the ability is... The ability doesn't work. They don't lose it, but it doesn't do anything either. So that's where we're at. I'm going to go ahead and cut it now. This feels like I've been at this for 2.5 hours. It's 6 o'clock here in Seattle. I think I've had plenty for the night, but we're going to be back on Thursday night to continue this. Normally I'd be back tomorrow morning and doing Eberron art, but I need to be downtown super early, so I do not plan to be on. I will be back Thursday morning for Eberron art. We'll be working on page art at that time. And then Thursday night when we come back, we're going to continue building out the rest of the monsters. We'll go with, here's the Brute. I'm really happy with the Brute. I'm happy with the controller, and we're going to continue here. There you go. All right, this is where we're going to continue next time. Anyone that's been checking this stuff out, Max, is that how that goes? Max 2K5. Okay, Max, thanks a lot for asking questions and being interested. Anyone else the same? Again, drop in my Discord, like, subscribe, bell icons. I'm here roughly 10 times per week, and I'll see everybody, I guess, on Thursday. So have a great day tomorrow, and I will see you on Thursday morning. Bye.